Oh my God. Congratulations, Catherine.
I can't believe it. I am so shocked. This is so much better than winning, really, a bad school prize that your kids get you in, like for Mother's Day. So I'm wrapped. Thank you so much, Danny.
Oh my God, so good, so good. It is so exciting. I love it because I was saying on the last recording I did, I try not to read too many of the applications because it's not my call, and I wait a little bit until they're judged. But I'd just spoken to you. We'd just done a recording for a podcast, so when I saw that your name was a winner, I was like, "Oh my God, I already know you, and I know you're fabulous." So that was very exciting.
Well, thank you. It's an absolute honor. And yeah, I admire you for actually supporting women and making a massive difference with that support. So thank you.
Love it. It's my pleasure. Let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
My name is Catherine Ashton. I'm the founder and CEO of a social enterprise called Critical Info. And what we do is try and make death a little bit easier, a little less confronting. And we help you by providing you with either planning tools to get your backup plan in place for when something does happen, or provide you with a guide after someone that you love has died and help you navigate what you need to do after it.
Wow. And it's incredible. And we did talk about this. I'll have to link to our podcast episode so people can really get into the detail. But it is so important. And it is interesting that we do have a hard time talking to each other, our loved ones, our family members, our friends about death when it is something that will literally happen to all of us, and the ones we love. So I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible.
Thank you. I will be always talking about it until we actually see it included in, our school curriculum. We learn about religion at school, we learn about, reproduction, but we don't learn about the one thing that we all need to know about, and that's death and how to handle it and how to not discuss it like it's a taboo subject.
Yeah. And this was actually inspired by a personal experience of yours.
Yeah, so a friend of ours died in 2023, and it was my husband's best mate, and his two children reside in the States. So I thought it would be really simple, and just I'd be getting information and handing it over and providing them with a pack on what we have to do. But I didn't realize how silo and fragmented the systems are, and they don't really talk to each other. And when you're grieving, it is really hard to navigate that. So I had recently finished my role as a producer at the Royal Botanic Gardens, where I was for 13 years due to a car accident. So I'd had my own experience of needing a backup plan and getting my paperwork in order. And so I did an Excel spreadsheet. And literally, that Excel spreadsheet is what's turned into critical info. And we've just keep developing resources when we find that people have a need and how to support them in this space.
Yeah, I think it is incredible. And I always find it fascinating when businesses are born from our own experiences or helping somebody else. So, again, I absolutely love it. Now, why did you apply for the grant?
Well, anyone who is in business knows that money only goes a certain way, and if anyone who has decided to go down the path of tech knows that once you develop the tech, it never ends.
Yeah.
It There's always updates that you can do or things that you can improve on. So we normally have a log of those feedbacks that we collate and we process on a quarterly basis. But what we have been finding is that our feedback form is, or not, sorry, our feedback form, our sign up form is too long. So we're having a certain number of people arrive on the sign up form, but we're only getting a certain way through the funnel, and then people are dropping off. So, what we're going to use the money for is actually working with our developer to make that really easy and simple because we've introduced a 2 day trial, but people are just finding that's the sticking point for them. And
Mm.
so, hopefully, simplifying the process will make it easier for people to experience it. And we're also going to be extending the trial from a 2 day period to a 10-day period so people can comfortably explore the platform and see whether it works for them.
I love this. One of the biggest things I say to people when they are applying is that knowing what you're going to spend the money on and how it's actually going to impact the business, which you obviously do, and you've got, that conversion brain and the optimization brain switched on. It's so important. And I love that's when I read your application. I could really tell that you knew A, what you wanted to do, but B, how it was actually going to help you grow as well. So incredible.
Well, for me, I'm looking forward to really getting into the nuts and bolts of the Spark method
Mm.
because up until now, this is my 3rd year in business now. So I'm now, my word for this year is consolidation and foundation, 2 words. And so it's really looking at everything we've done up until this point and then what's working, what's not working. And I think using that method will be very good. Well, it already is being good. With me working out just even more what other aspects need to be worked on once I've dealt with the tech issue.
I love it. And look, it's funny that you talk about that season of life, that consolidation that, we do go through so many phases as businesses. Sometimes it's that build, sometimes it is consolidation or repair or maintenance or scale or growth or whatever it might be. And that kind of calls for different things in that phase of business. So love that you're sorting the tech out and getting into that new phase of business for 2026. That's super exciting.
It is, and it's all part of, and it's perfect timing. So I can't thank you enough because we're just about to launch a national campaign called Support the Everyday Hero in Your Home. So this will just make it so much easier for people to sign up, experience, see whether the platform's for them. The people who are in the household that are the ones who know the passwords, know the appointments, all of that sort of information, they will now be able to be taken through a guided process. Document where all that information is kept and share it with their loved ones. So if anything happens to them, they've got a backup plan that they can share with others.
I love it so much. And how did you find the actual process of applying for the grant?
Very straightforward. Like it was probably the most easiest, process to go through, really. So very simple questions. I think the thing is, as you pointed out previously, it's to really know your business and be aware of what the Spark method means and what it's about. And then also know exactly where your pressure points are in your business that you need to focus on and how you can constructively, use those funds to work on that aspect.
Yeah, it's a really funny thing that I didn't expect when we launched the grant program, but I've had a lot of feedback from people that say um, just going through the grant submission process actually forced them to stop and think about what actually is the number one priority right now. If someone did give me 5 grand or 10 grand, what would I actually do with it? It's so easy to just go, oh my God, it would be life changing. Oh my God, I could do anything. But it's when you do actually know exactly what you're going to spend on, where are the pressure points, what are the constraints, what's actually working, like where can we spend
Yeah.
more money, right? Like what's actually working. That's a really powerful process for people to go through, even if they don't get the grant, to actually have a little bit more focus and direction anyway.
I as part of my normal sort of PR with my business, I always make sure that I keep an eye out for grants that are open, for awards that are open. And it's not so much so the fact that you think that you'll get them, but what the process is of applying for it, it gives you really good clarity to look and, like you said, stop and pay attention what's working in your business and what's not working. So then you can actually refocus. So I always am applying for grants, applying for awards, just as part of my usual process in the business every quarter, because it's really valuable information that you learn about your own business.
I love it. That is actually brilliant. Obviously very hell bent on Spark grants, but such good advice to actually think about grants, awards, anything that you can put yourself forward for. Also, just a really good way to build that confidence muscle, like just putting yourself out there, and because
Yeah.
you just never
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and also it means that you're surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded as well, that are
Mm.
actually taking that time to really spend time on their business, not just in it. And so there's just sort of like a different level of strategy and thinking that goes in with that, which and a bit of love. There's always love at Spark, but it's sharing that love and appreciating what other people are doing at award ceremonies and things like that and just seeing what great work's being done out there in the space is great.
Oh, that is so good. I love it. Any last advice to a woman in business who might be thinking of applying for the Spark grants?
Oh, just go for it. Like it's such a good opportunity to, like we said, review what you're currently doing, work out what works, work out what doesn't work. And, you got nothing to lose. Look, you might be a winner like I am, and that's better than any Mother's Day cup or present I've received. So thank you.
I've never heard anyone compare us to a Mother's Day award,
Oh,
but I'm
like they're
into it. I'm
Oh
into
my
it.
God. It's like those weird kind of reminds me of like when you used to give, your child like $5 or something to go to the Mother Day stall at their
Yeah.
school. And it was such a jackpot of goodness knows what you were going to get. But this is something you've got nothing to lose. It's not going to be a bad mug that sits at the back of the cupboard, like
A pasta necklace.
exactly a pasta necklace. Exactly. So just go for it, ladies.
Oh, you are the best, Catherine. Congratulations again. I can't wait to check in with you over the next 6 to 12 months to see how business is booming.
I will hopefully see you in Perth very shortly, Danny.